What's up, everyone? Ray Lopez back here again to do. Why'd I say Had no reason to say but whatever. Let's get into this. I've been working on this build. This is build of the week number 6. Dun 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 dun. Build of the week number 6. I don't have any cool music for that. Basically, what we're gonna do this time, and it's taken me, sorry, a little bit longer than a week to get this to you, as I've built this with different gauges to try and find the right one to work. This is a deeduplex build, or deedupdex. It's one of his builds. He posted this a while ago, and I tried it a while ago, and I really liked it. And I went back and decided, hey, you know, let's go ahead and make this one of the builds of the week, since I have already done one of his builds, which was the Swan Coil. So this one, as I just keep rambling here, it's already been a minute and I haven't even told you what we're building, is called the Parasplit Coil. I'm going to show you how to do this. It looks really ugly right now because I've been using it all day and for probably the last 2 days trying to make sure that this one was going to work. This one I built with 27 gauge, and I'm going to go ahead and throw some of this Killer Custard on from Baptasia. I will be doing a juice review for them probably after I finish this, because I need to catch up on my videos here. And I'm almost out of this. Killer Custard. This is really good stuff, you guys. So stay tuned for that juice review. So far, everyone else that's reviewed it has also said the same thing. It is fucking delicious. All right. So here we go. I also have the Stingray here. Just got this in recently, so expect a review on this as well. This is the one from Tobacco. You see, fire's nice. And this is somewhere in the 0.28, 0.26 range, I believe, on the Patriot. Lost in the clouds. Okay, so there you can see this thing works great. So let's go ahead and get right into this, because this is probably going to take me a long time to show you, because it's not an easy build. Not easy at all. So let's go into up close mode, into build mode, and I'll show you how to make deedupdex's Parasplit quad Parasplit coil. All right, stay tuned. All right, so here we are in up close build mode. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to build this with 27 gauge. You can use 26. Dexter used 26 for his build. I tried this with 24 first, and man, was it beastly. It looked crazy, but it wasn't heating up properly. So 24 is probably a little bit too low of a gauge to work with. So 27 seems to work just fine. Fires up perfectly. So we're going to stick with 27. Of course, let's go over tools you'll need. As always, you want some tweezers. Need a nice little Phillips head screwdriver to mess with that. Some Allen wrenches. Yeah, I want to say this is a 3/32. This will be for the main body of the paracoil, or whatever you want to call it. And then this is I want to say a 1.5 millimeter Allen, and this will be used for the outside coils. Scissors, some needle nose, some wire cutters. You know, the essentials. These are the main things that you're going to need right here. All right. So let us begin with this bastard coil. I don't really have that much 27 left, but I should have plenty to make this. So first thing we want to do here is pull off quite a bit. I'd say might be enough. Probably about 18 inches. There we go. Pull that off. And I'm trying to make this quick because this is a actually pretty difficult coil to get perfect. All right, so here's our wire. We make sure we're going to cut 4 equal lengths out of this wire. All right, so split it the first time, give it a snip. Same thing, take those now. And you really don't need that much wire to make this, because with 27, if you still want to have a nice low resistance, you're not going to do that many wraps on this. Okay, so we got all of our wire cut here. Now, since this is called the Parasplit, we need to make a split. Or, well, we got to make a split, but we also need to make a parallel coil. So, first thing I do, and I do this because it makes your life a whole hell of a lot easier, is line up this end. And once you line up at this end, we're going to twist a couple little twists in here. I do this so that way when I'm making my paracoil here, it's not going to unravel. All right, so nice little twisty thing right there. See it? All right, let's get to making this damn bastard coil. This is not going to be easy to do on camera either, because I had a hell of a time doing this without the camera. So bear with me here, folks. I want to make sure I'm doing this right for you, okay? And my camera's actually away from me. I'm over here. And it's easier for me to bring it over here and do it, but then you guys can't see, so what's the point of doing a tutorial? Okay, so let's go ahead and, hey, let me get you on camera. Where are we clear? That might be too close, but whatever. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it because I like you guys that much that I'm willing to put myself through hell. Okay, so first things first, we're going to do 4 wraps. Now make sure that your wire does not fold on itself. It needs to be up and down, just like that. No twist in the wire. The only area that you're going to have twist is right here, and that's where it's going to go through your post. So this is the bottom. So let's get our first. Oh, this is not going to be easy. Let's do our first one. See, look, I'm even touching the camera with it. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you know what I'm going to do? Let's do 1 more, and then I'm going to back off that first one, because that first one is not so happy. Okay, sorry if any of that was off camera. Okay, so here we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see it's not that clean. You clean it up afterwards. Okay, so this is your initial coil. Kind of scrunch it a little bit, and we'll fix that better once we get it on to our Patriot. Now the next thing you do is you make, this is where your split comes from. All right, so this is going to go into your center post. These are going to go into your outer post. All right, so now what I do here, just to kind of clean this up a little bit, is I like to give it a bend. So I'll just take my fingernail, I'll find out where it needs to go and give it a bend. All right, so now it should look, oh, and it untwisted. See what I mean? By this needs to be twisted. So I'm gonna retwist this and we'll get right back to this. Okay, retwisted. So now your coil should look like that. Okay, here, let's do it this way because this is actually the top. Here's top, here's your bottom. Now, for the fun part, this is where it gets tricky. Now what you want to do is this needs to stay in there. So we'll feed that back in just like so. Let me see if I can do it this way. Let me zoom in here. How's that look? Still blurry as shit. Okay, so now you guys can kind of see what we're doing here. This is where it gets difficult. Now there might be a much easier way of doing this, but this is the way that I've been doing it. It's not very easy, but it works. Okay, so now we take our other Allen wrench making sure that we keep our two wires here coiled onto the main Allen wrench here. Oh, come on. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now do this, and we get a wrap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Same thing on this side. So now we got this. Isn't this pretty? It's not pretty. I know. It's ugly. Oh my goodness. It's so ugly. But we're gonna fix all this, okay? Just stick with me here. It's gonna look nice when we're all done. And you're probably wondering, Ray, why are we doing all of this horrible stuff just to make this one simple coil? Because why not, right? We like to build coils. If you're watching this channel, you probably like to build a bunch of crazy stuff. So here we go. We're building some crazy stuff. And the way that this thing hits, after it's all done, it might not necessarily be worth all the trouble to build this coil, but man, it looks pretty, and it pumps out a bunch of vapor. Okay, so there's that. It's pretty much even. And yes, I know, it's disgusting. God, like, why would Ray build such an ugly coil? Because it fucking works awesome. Okay. So now that this is all done, I'm going to go ahead and straighten out these, and I'm going to go ahead and insert this coil into the Patriot RDA. All right? I'm going to do this off camera. You don't need to watch this boring part. All right, you like how I did that? I stuck the cotton ball down there so I could show you how this works. Okay, so here is the rough coil. Now to insert it. Since you have 3 different legs, you want them all to be 3 different lengths. It does make life a little bit easier here. And how am I going to do this without completely blocking the view? Well, I guess let's try this instead. All right, you see this? Now let's go ahead and insert our wires. And my apologies if my hand gets in the way. There's really no way around it here. So your 2 smaller coils go on your negatives. Get in there. And of course, your main coil goes into the positive. It's like that. We'll go ahead and you really do need to keep the main coil on the Allen wrench here, because if you don't, it starts to uncoil itself. Probably the most difficult part of this coil is what I'm doing right now. There we go. So let's just make sure that's centered. You want the main coil to be pretty much dead center here. So let's get it in there. Get it in there. Yeah. Okay. So that's about right. Now, what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and put this screw tight. I'm going to tighten up all these screws, and I'm going to go ahead and get everything situated. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you this. All right, so I have my center coil tightened all the way down. Now my outside coils are not how they're supposed to be yet. They're still rough. Basically, I'm going to bend these and put them at about a 45-degree angle. So you don't want too much wire here, but you don't want a whole bunch of it. Like, you know, you want it to be right there in the middle. Kind of get them evened out if you can. So that way they look pretty much the same. And then instead of having to tighten down your screws here, it's a little trick. If you just bend the legs. So that should be fine. Now I'm going to go off camera again. I'm going to build the second coil, or the last 2, because this is actually 2 coils here. And I'll insert that one. We'll get everything all tightened up, and I'll show you how to fine-tune this Parasplit Coil. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so hold tight. Actually, you don't have to hold tight. You're going to see it right away. Okay, one quick thing here before I insert my second coil. We need to get rid of this. So I'm going to cut that off. All right, so we don't need that lead. here's our next coil here. See that? Now, a thing to make your life a whole lot easier, because you're not going to be able to get in there to cut off the center lead, is kind of line it up like so and figure out how long you need it to be and then cut it. Okay, now you can see this is a big clusterfuck of wires here, but I got my two centers lined up. Now I just need to adjust these. I already screwed down my center post. So now I'm going to adjust these with my fingers or with the Allen wrench, like say with this one that's like way out in left field here. And I'll insert these like so and make sure that you keep the center post bound with its Allen. And you take these and you start working this coil. All right, so right now, first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my fingers and get these outside coils adjusted so that way they're in the right position, and then I'm going to screw down everything. Okay, I'll go ahead and do this on camera, but I'm just going to do it in fast forward because this is probably going to take a long time. So here we go. Okay, so here it is. It's not the prettiest. I'm going to, of course, adjust it once I get into like firing it up and I can adjust it with the tweezers. But here you go. This is the rough draft of a quad parasplit coil. I'm going to go ahead and cut off these leads. I'm going to throw it on the Stingray, and I'm going to start pulse firing it and getting everything adjusted right. Okay, here we are. We're back. It is on the Stingray now. So now what we need is our tweezers, and we start pulse firing. Look at that thing firing. Man, is it fire all sorts of nasty here. So fire it, get it nice and hot, let off, and then give it a squeeze. And this is 27 gauge, so this stuff is really easy to work with. You don't have to push too hard. It'll do exactly what you want it to do. But basically now you need to adjust everything so that way everything sits even, everything fires even, you get rid of all the gaps, and you make all your coils contact coils. And one thing about these paracoils is once you add the cotton, it'll hold the coil together a little bit better. Let me show you here. So I mean, you probably can't really see that too well, but the coils get a little funky on these. All right, but you see what I'm doing here. I'm just taking them, pulsing, squeezing. I'm going to go ahead and do this again off camera to save a little bit of time here. All right, so I got everything all worked out here. Let me give you some test fires here. Fires up nice and even. That. Everything fires nice. Now see what I was running into with the 24 gauge is the little outside coils. The split coils were not working so well. So here's this. I'm going to throw it back on the ohm meter. We're going to test it, and we're going to show you how to wick it. Okay, so here you go. We're at a 0.32, and I'll show you how to wick. First off, this is just cotton ball. It's rolled up. I unroll my cotton balls, and you get these nice sheets. Really easy to work with. So first things first here, I'm going to cut off about that much. I don't know, I'd say probably about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And then I cut that right down the center. That's it. This is all you need. So maybe not even this much. So now what I do is I twist one end, just the tip, just the tip. Right? Like that. Insert the tip into the hole, the main hole, and pull it through. Just enough. It's probably more, you know. And when you're doing cotton wick, you want it to slide with ease. So you want to put the tip in the hole and make it slide with ease. How many of you are dying right now? Okay, so now we got that done. Let's go ahead and do the other side. All right, so now we got that. Now here's where the fun part begins. This is how, I'm not sure how Dexter did his wicking. This is just something that I started doing just because it seems to work really well and it kind of looks cool. Is I'll take these now, and just like how I cut the main piece in half, I'll cut this in half. Trying to be as even as oh geez, I'm like covering the whole camera with my giant man hand. It's not easy to do on camera. Anyways, I'm splitting. See what I just did? I messed up. Whatever, we'll make it work. Cut the cotton in half. I'm going to do this next one off camera because it's too much of a bitch doing it on camera. So now we got these little bits and pieces. So again, now these might be a little too thick for these tighter holes on the side. So let's go ahead and pull a little bit of cotton off. It's probably good. Now again, twist the tip. And this one you want a nice tight twist. Because now, I forgot the most important tool to always have, paper clip. We're going to take this piece and insert it into these little tiny holes on the side. This is not the easiest thing to do. Again, this is not an easy build. If you're building this, you are an advanced vapor. You're an advanced builder, and you don't mind a little bit of extra work. So, oh, goodness gracious. I'm trying to show you this on camera, guys. This is not easy at all. All right, so you see that little tiny piece sticking out there? We got to try and grab it with our tweezers. Oh, grab it with our tweezers. There we go. And just pull that on through. Make sure not to tear it. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Let me show you what this looks like, because I'm going to do the other side off camera, of course. This is probably getting really long now. All right, so there you go. That is how to properly, or my way of properly wicking this. So it's all one piece of cotton, and it's in all 3 of the coils, or 4 technically. All right, I'm going to do the other side off camera. Okay, so here you go. Should look just like that when you're all done. Then you just cut all these off. Leave a little bit so you have a little bit of a cloud at the bottom. And then we just tuck everything in. This will allow for lots of juice to be absorbed into your build. That's it. That is the quad Parasplit. You guys just sat through this agonizingly long tutorial. Hopefully I can knock this down. I'm going to go ahead and take this off, put this on the Stingray with the fresh battery, juice it up, and show you guys how this one vapes. Okay, so let's go ahead and juice this up. I'm going to go ahead and throw some Citrus Breeze from Vapetasia, another good flavor from them. So juice this thing up like crazy, as you should always do the first time you make a fresh build with fresh wick. And of course, you know, your first fire is not always the greatest. Throw our top cap on, get the drip tip on. And this, I built this on the Patriot, the Tobacco Patriot clone, because 3 30-second post holes. All right, so here we go. So check that out. You saw how much vapor that produced. For a 0.32, that produced a shit ton of vapor. And that's what this build does. I've been doing all these vertical coils. This is probably one of my favorite vertical coil builds to make. Actually, I take it back. I hate making it because it's a pain in the ass to make. But it works so well after it's done. It holds a lot of juice. It creates a lot of vapor since you have technically 6 coils in there working. So you're heating up all of that coil, you're getting all of that surface area, and you're creating a ton of vapor. You also get really good flavor with this build as well. I mean, you saw this is the Parasplit. See, now it's firing nice. I'm gonna go ahead and take another vape off of this just because it's firing so great. So hopefully you enjoyed this build and you have a little bit of patience, because you're going to need a lot of patience to do this build. But there you go. That is the Parasplit, the quad Parasplit coil. So thank you for watching. If you guys could, go ahead and subscribe to my channel to keep up with these builds, since I'm trying to do one at least every week. This one took a little bit longer because it was a little bit more technical. So go ahead and click right here somewhere and click to subscribe. Keep up to date with my reviews, my tutorials, and all that other good vapey wonderful stuff. And if you can, go ahead and click the link I'll have in the description below and join the Cotton Collective, which is a Facebook group that I started back in November. Bunch of really cool people in there. So those are my calls to action, I guess. You saw that, you saw the build, you saw how it worked, you saw how it's built, you saw all that good stuff. So again, thank you for watching, you guys, and as always, vape on. God, this is like one of the hardest fucking builds I've ever tried to do a tutorial on. My God, I hope this doesn't turn out to be like an hour-long freaking tutorial. That's what's great about editing. I can edit out all the bullshit.